president goes on to say, well, what happens if we just don't respond at all to the subpoena, I guess, or don't play ball with them? The president goes on to say, wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? Well, look, isn't it better if there are no documents? They've got these conversations that were memorialized by the president's attorneys. There's also this recording of him where he talks about this plan that's believed an attack plan against Iran. I mean, they've got a lot of information in this, Jonathan.
No, it is an extremely damning indictment. There are indictments that are sometimes called narrative or speaking indictments. These are indictments that are really meant to make a point as to the depth of the evidence. There are some indictments that are just bare bones. This is not. The special counsel knew that there would be a lot of people who were going to allege that the Department of Justice was acting in a biased or politically motivated way. This is clearly an indictment that was drafted to answer those questions. It's overwhelming in details. And, the Trump team should not fool itself. These are hits below the waterline. These are witnesses who apparently testified under oath, gave statements to federal investigators, both of which can be criminally charged if they're false. Those witnesses are directly quoting the president in encouraging others not to look for documents or allegedly to conceal them. It's damaging. And the key here to keep in mind is that every case I've ever been involved with, the indictment was a heart stopper. These are written by lawyers who are trying to convict the client. Every indictment I've ever dealt with has fallen apart to some degree once we look more carefully at what the evidence may be. But this is not an indictment that you can dismiss.
This is Jonathan Turley, a very pro-Trump Fox News legal commentator, reacting to the federal indictment of Donald Trump that was just unsealed. And even he's forced to acknowledge that the case against Trump is, quote, extremely damning. Now, Republicans had immediately jumped to Trump's defense when the news initially broke on Thursday that he'd been indicted without seeing the evidence for themselves. Only now, with the litany of charges finally revealed, those Republicans look like complete fools for defending someone who has committed multiple obvious federal crimes that can include prison sentences because of how serious they are. But hey, when is looking like fools stop them before? So there's a lot to unpack in the actual indictment, and I strongly encourage you to read it for yourself in its entirety because there is a lot there. But I'll break down a few of the key bits here. And the part that I have to start with is this. All along, we've been told by both Trump and his allies that he can magically declassify any document, even by just thinking about it. He basically argued that a former president can just move any documents they want as they leave office, and that those documents aren't classified because they personally willed them into declassification using something akin to Jedi mind control.
Is there a process? What was your process to declassify?
There doesn't have to be a process, as I understand it. There's different people say different things, but as I understand, there doesn't have to be. If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it. And there doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision. So when you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything.
Except, here's the thing. He contradicted his own claim. According to the indictment, quote, in July 2021 at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, during an audio-recorded meeting with a writer, a publisher, and 2 members of his staff, none of whom possessed a security clearance, Trump showed and described a plan of attack that Trump said was prepared for him by the Department of Defense and a senior military official. Trump told the individuals that the plan was highly confidential and secret. Trump also said, as president, I could have declassified it, and now I can't, but this is still a secret. So there it is. He said that he could have declassified the military secrets that he willingly shared with people who didn't have a security clearance, but conceded that he no longer could declassify it, and that the documents he showed and described were still a secret, meaning that it is utterly impossible to deny that he has undermined his entire defense here. And this was just one instance. Here's another. Quote, in August or September 2021, at the Bedminster Club, Trump showed a representative of his political action committee who did not possess a security clearance a classified map related to a military military operation and told the representative that he should not be showing it to the representative and that the representative should not get too close. Again, there it is. He acknowledges himself that he should not be showing it to the person, but he did anyway. His entire case just completely unravels with these pieces of evidence, and it's clear why Trump is issuing unhinged all-caps rants, because he knows he's screwed. And if you thought all of that was bad enough, it gets worse. In another part of the unsealed indictment, the Department of Justice details the kinds of documents that Trump was hoarding. Quote, the classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. The unauthorized disclosure of these classified documents could put at risk the national security of the United States, foreign relations, and the safety of the United States military and human sources, and the continued viability of sensitive intelligence collection methods. Let me just repeat that slowly. He was hoarding U.S. nuclear secrets. Secrets that were so serious and so secret that they would put the U.S.'s national security at risk if they got out. And he was bragging about the documents that he stole to random people at his beach resort. Here are some of the departments that he took classified documents from, according to the indictment. The CIA, the Department of Defense, the National Security Agency, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office, the Department of Energy, which oversees our nuclear weapons, the State Department, the Bureau of Intelligence and Research. And as if that wasn't bad enough, here's where he was keeping those documents.
That's the bathroom. That's another example. That's another example of what we're talking about. But on this specific part of the indictment, these documents that are only supposed to be seen with those countries that the United States relies on for intelligence, the most important intelligence that deals with not just national security for the United States, but for the United States' allies. And so this is not just an issue for within the borders. There it is. That's the photo that this part of the indictment is referring to. So it's not just the intelligence and national security of the United States. You have allies around the world.
This is what Republicans are defending, something utterly indefensible. And their main argument here is that it's somehow an abuse of power for federal law enforcement to enforce the laws that would have already landed anyone else in prison by now. One right-wing commentator said, first Trump, next you, then all of us. Ah, yes, because if they can indict a former president who stole classified nuclear documents and hoarded them at his golf club for all to see, then they can indict anyone who stole classified nuclear documents and hoarded them at their golf club for all to see. I can feel all of you watching just shuddering at your inevitable fates. The actual subtext of their argument is that they don't believe in the principle that no one is above the law. They believe that Donald Trump is above the law. That is why they attempted a coup to keep him in power in the first place, and why they're continuing this unrelenting assault on democracy to make sure that they never lose power again. It is fundamentally anti-American, anti-freedom, and anti-rule of law, while masking their fascist goals with vague conspiracies about how Biden and Obama are somehow magically orchestrating this from behind the curtain. But let's be absolutely clear here. Joe Biden did not indict Donald Trump. The Democratic Party did not indict Donald Trump. No politician indicted Donald Trump. It was a grand jury of regular, everyday citizens in Florida, of all places, that reviewed the evidence and voted to indict Donald Trump. That is how our system works. That's how the rule of law works. And for the Republicans who think that we should just go easy on Trump because he's a former president and holding him accountable for his actions would divide the country, keep in mind that the Justice Department is already going easy on him. Any other American who hoarded nuclear secrets and bragged to unauthorized individuals by showing them military attack plans while admitting to the crime on tape would already be in prison by now. So if you want easy treatment, you're looking at it. The simple fact is that Trump's actions are so egregious and undeniable that federal law enforcement has been left with no other choice but to take action. They tried asking nicely and he didn't cooperate. They tried a subpoena and he defied it. They tried asking his attorneys and were given a bogus attestation. The lesson here is that treating him with kids' gloves only emboldens his behavior. He is a criminal, and thank God we're finally treating him like one. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.